Hey guys, welcome back to Berry's Corner. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys all the books that I will continuously reread every single year for my sanity. I love these books and I will never give them up. These books. Guys, you are welcome for making this video because you guys need to read these books. I'm so sorry, but you guys will finally understand what I mean and what I'm saying when I show you these books. So, before I begin, please subscribe, comment down below, and like this video. All my social links are down in the description box below, as well as my Amazon wishlist if you would like to gift me a book. Now let's get on to the video. Starting off with the book that you guys know I love, I just haven't talked about it in a bit, The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Sally Thorne could not have written a better book, a more perfect book. Wow. Sally Thorne's mind when writing this book, top tier. I've alluded to how much I love this book so much, but I need to talk about it a little bit more in depth, okay? If you don't know what this book is about, it is a office adult romance book. It follows a girl named Lucy and a guy named Josh, and they play this hating game. They sit across from each other, and they play this hating game where basically they try to get the other to show some type of emotion in any of their conversations. But one day, a new promotion is up, and they are both up for the role. And so the hating game kind of gets in the way of that, and then hate maybe goes to love. It is top tier enemies to lovers. It's just the perfect balance. Sometimes with enemies to lovers, you have too much enemies and not enough love, or too much love and not enough enemies. This is the perfect balance. Just Josh Templeman, dude. Oh, best book boyfriend I've ever read. It's just so good. So good. I love it so much. Read it if you haven't already. I know it's very hyped up, but trust me, it's worth the hype. Now let's talk about Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. If you know me, you know that I love Tahereh Mafi. She's my favorite author of all time. I literally have read every single one of her books. And the Shatter Me series is where it all began. In middle school, 7th grade, I literally remember it so well. I was sitting in the auditorium because I was a little theater kid, okay? And I was literally reading her books, falling in love. Ignite Me, best book of all time, dude. It always holds up. Rereading the Shatter Me series, the first book, okay, I get it. It has some flaws. And if you've just read the Shatter Me series and you didn't, the first book in the Shatter Me series, and you didn't like it, valid, okay? But it just keeps getting better and better as you go on, and Ignite Me is where it, peaks. Ignite Me is the peak of YA fantasy. It's so good. If you don't know what this book is about, it's basically about a girl named Juliet, and her touch is lethal, and one day a little boy falls, and she tries to pick him up, so she kills him by accident, and she gets put into an insane asylum, and we start with her getting a little roommate named Adam, and stuff happens from there, and there's a whole new world around them, and there's, this whole new government forming, and oh my god. Did I say fantasy? It's dystopian, by the way. Oh my gosh, so good. Love it. Warner. Oh my gosh. Peak enemies to lovers. It's just my favorite trope. Have you guys not noticed that? Now, let's talk about a book that I do love, and I do talk about, but not enough. Far from the Tree by Robin Benway. This book I absolutely adore. I don't talk about it enough. It's basically following 3 different kids in the foster care system. Grace, Maya, and Joaquin. They are all siblings born from the same biological mother, but they just don't know it yet. And they all have their different problems. So Grace just gave birth to a baby as a teen, and she put it up for adoption. Maya is gay. Also, her family, she's kind of feeling left out because their family also has a biological daughter, and she's feeling not enough. And also her mom's an alcoholic. And Joaquin never got adopted, and he's with this family right now. He's 18 at the moment, but he's with this family at the moment that really want to adopt him, and he's just had a lot of trauma, and he's just no. And Grace really wants to find the mom, and so she brings them all together to try and find the mom. And I know it sounds like a lot is going on, but it's just so many beautiful layers. The found family element is just so good. I've reread this 3 times. I always tear up. Just, it's so good. It's so good. I love, especially right now with the foster care system and birthing babies. It's a huge topic right now, at least in the US. It's just so beautiful to read, and it's so light too. Although it does deal with heavy topics, it's a fast read, and you just get through it, and it just tugs your little heartstrings, okay? It's so good. One Colleen Hoover book, one honorable mention, okay? It Ends With Us is the book that I'm going to be talking about. It's my second favorite Colleen Hoover book, but my first favorite is Reminders of Him. However, this book shattered my soul in the best way possible, and I will definitely 100% cry if I read it again. And so I don't think I could constantly reread this. I think I need to give my time to process, because I absolutely adore it, but I need to I don't know, I'd be crying every day if I just constantly reread this book. So read it, please. My favorite of hers of all time. However, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. absolutely obsessed. It follows a girl named Lily who meets a little neurosurgeon, and they hit it off and they start a romance, but then her ex-lover comes into the picture again, and you see these letters that she wrote to Ellen when she was younger and her rereading them, and it's just talking about her life with Atlas, the ex-lover. And also, I know this is a big romance book, but mostly what it focuses on is abuse and domestic abuse, and how her father had abused her, and just like how, and her mother as well, and how that like affects her today. And it's just so freaking good, amazing. And I know that I say that the other book shatters me and like I will cry. I didn't cry with this book, but it definitely leaves you like shocked and like, oh my gosh, what would happen? To read this book for the first time again would be absolutely insane. I'm so in love with this book. I gave it to my friend to read and she absolutely adored it. So literally gonna reread this book. I actually want to reread it right now, so let's see what happens with that. Now let's talk about a book that I do not talk about enough, okay? Daughter of a Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This is a duology, so the second book is Daughter of a Siren Queen. Obsessed with both of the books in the series. This is about a girl that is, again, daughter of a Pirate King, so she's on a mission to retrieve this map. And this map will basically lead you to a place full of gold, near sirens and all this good stuff. And she basically gets herself like hijacked in a way to get onto a ship that has the map. And oh my gosh, like there's also a lot of romance in this book. Obsessed with the romance. The romance is absolutely insane, amazing, beautiful, chef's kiss. Obsessed with this book. Literally can't talk because I love it so much. It is so action-packed, so fast-paced. The romance is on point. Just the spunk of our main character, beautiful. Like, I can't rave about it enough. I can't wait to reread it because I'm just obsessed, and I don't know. I'm so excited. You should read this book. Out of everything, read this book. 3 more books, I'll go fast. The next one is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. If you don't know who this is the author of The Poet X, and this is told in verse. And basically it follows 2 girls, Camino and Yahaira, and they both have the same father, but they don't know it. And so there was this plane crash. This is a real plane crash, but the rest of the story is fiction, where it's headed to the Dominican Republic, and the plane crashed, and it killed everybody on the plane, and it was a huge hit to the Dominican community. However, once the US ruled it as not a terrorist attack, it just was forgotten about. And so basically their father dies on this plane, and they are like grief stricken, and they have to deal with this loss, but also deal with their father having 2 different lives, one in DR and one in New York City. And it's so good, so amazing. This is the book by Elizabeth Acevedo that I connect to the most. It's just so beautiful. The Hispanic culture, I just connect with so much because I'm Hispanic, and it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. I love it so much. Next up is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and you're like, Emily, you just read this like 2 months ago. Guys, it is taking every ounce of my being not to reread this book. I constantly think about it. It's literally on my mind 24/7. I'm obsessed with this book. I don't know which is better, The Hating Game or The Love Hypothesis, and that's saying a lot, okay? This is about a girl named Olive, and she's a PhD student, and she had somewhat of a fling, not a fling, but just like a little romantic connection with this guy, but she didn't really like him. Her friend does, and doesn't want to date the guy because Olive used to date him. And so she's like, please take the guy, I have a boyfriend, but she really doesn't. And so she's supposed to be on a date, but she's at the lab and she sees her friend, and so she randomly kisses a guy next to her, which is the hotshot Professor Adam Carlson. Oh my gosh, we love him. I love him so much. Grumpy Sunshine, and I didn't know how much I loved it until he ordered a black coffee and she ordered a unicorn frappuccino, and I was like, this is love, okay? Like, I'm absolutely obsessed with this book. I can't even talk, guys. I can't talk at all today, but it's because I'm so excited and because I'm just in love with these books. I know I said this for The Daughter of a Pirate King, but any of these books, read this one, dude. If out of all of these books, read this one because it's so amazing, so beautiful. Like, I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Just love them so much. Now for the last book. I did put it last for a reason because out of all of this is the book that I absolutely adore, but also like I would reread all the other books before I reread this one, but I still would reread it like very much so. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book, oh my goodness gracious, I love it so much. Like, absolutely adore it. Everybody hates on YA thrillers, but this and Sadie, they did something different. They did something so good, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed. Follows a girl named Pip that is reopening a murder case that happened 5 years ago because this guy named Sal Singh murdered his girlfriend, Andy Bell, and she's like, that doesn't seem like Sal because I knew him, so let's like reopen the case. And they solve the murder, and it's just so freaking good. So good. Obsessed with it. Like, I don't know. I don't read a lot of thrillers, and that's why, like, before reading other thrillers, I will reread this one. But I love it. I love it so much. those are all the books that I reread annually. Will always reread multiple times a year. Like, it's just so amazing how much I love these books and how beautiful these books are. Like, the authors of these books, they did it right. They did it right. So I hope you guys got some inspiration, some recommendations. Hopefully you guys read these books and reread these books. I love you guys so much. Please subscribe, comment down below, and do whatever you want to do. And goodbye.